Do you remember there was a song, I forgot the name of the group. Do you remember that song? It was like, I was getting some head. Do you remember that song?
I remember that. I think that was pretty hot when I first moved to Dallas.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, it was like a big song. I think I was like in high school, and I remember like that song came out, and we all knew, but I remember the radio version. This is how I always remember. Yeah. Because the radio's like, we can't say head.
Yeah.
And then they put out a version, and it was like, I was getting some, and it's like they played out, I was getting some, like that was the edited version. Yeah, and I was like listening to the radio, and I'm like, oh my god, like if my parents hear the edited version, they're gonna be upset. I better play the real version because I don't think they know what head means. And so it's weird how they used to do that, huh? Yeah, they used to always like edit it out. But for whatever reason, you could say "ski ski ski" on that Lil Jon song, and no one ever caught that. And so it was just funny, man. I always think of that. I'm like, man, music is so weird. It's an expression of self. No one would tell a painter. There's paintings that kids see that are like nude, and they're like, it's art. Enjoy art.
Exactly.
So, well, all right. Well, that's what music is. It's art.
It's art.
And if there's cussing in it, that's how I feel about the podcast, because it's like I'm trying to cuss less on the podcast, but I also understand that cussing happens, and I like. So I'm like, I don't want to. I'm gonna cuss. Yeah. But if I can, if it's an art form almost, right? Like, and so it's like if you can make it work, or if it's relevant to make the story make sense,
absolutely,
then use it. But I tend to overly use it. When I was listening back to the first podcast I did, I spotted moments where I'm like, why did I cuss right there? Like I would just cuss like 3 times in one sentence. I'm like, I could have just said that sentence. Like I didn't need to do all that.
It kind of happens, you know. I feel.
Are
like
you a cusser?
I don't feel like I am, but when I'm hanging out with my buddies, I feel like I cuss a lot more than when I'm not.
Really?
So I guess it comes like to maybe being cool ish.
Well, I don't feel that way though. Like, do you think that? Well, for sure, people cuss to be cool. But why do you think? I think it's cultural. I think it's like it's in our music, like we kind of mentioned, so it naturally comes out. Here's the thing: I work a job where you're not supposed to cuss. Right. I can do that just fine. Yeah. But when I'm having conversations, I think it's a sign of comfortability. Yeah. And so, do you, what do you do for work? You don't have to say where you work, but what do you do right now?
We do, where I work, we do credit repairs.
Okay. And so you've worked in that industry for a while, from what I know, right?
Yeah.
The industry.
Right.
And so I'm assuming no cussing, right?
Absolutely not.
Have you ever had a coworker, here's a good sign, have you ever had a coworker cuss to you, like not like at you, but like you're hanging out and like, man, this fucking job. Right. And it's like a sign of like, oh, like we're on that level now. Yeah. Like, like now,
we just became best friends.
Yeah. It's like one of those moments, man. Because you're like, oh man, like it's weird how it's like a sign of like I respect you or I trust you enough to like say this around you. Because when at my job, which no one's cussed me yet, but in the past in like proper jobs where you're not supposed to do that, when someone finally does, I'm like, oh, we're cool now. Yeah. And now I got some dirt on you and you cuss, and you got some dirt on me because I cuss back.
You say
like,
fuck, man.
Yeah. And then I said it back. So now we're friends. Yeah. But
you know, usually I'm the one that breaks that ice.
You're the cusser?
Yeah. Fuck this guy.
Yeah, dude. Well,
oh shit, yeah, I feel the same way.
I forget because I'm so censored at work. When we go to places, whether it's like someone Laura's friends or maybe a friend of my friend who I don't know yet. Yeah. Like I think I spend all day not cussing. Yeah. When I hang out, I'm like, fuck, man, you're fucking awesome. Right. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Yeah. And I'm like, oh, I don't even know these guys. Like, I know, I feel like this is a place where I could do that. Yeah. So I'm usually the one, and then I have to like look around, and I'm like, oh, like